really watch a good ball game. Very competitive.
All right, so the 2020 season, that was when the whole COVID everything happened, and it was a struggle for us to get fields and everyone. We really relied on the teams that had their own community fields, and they really worked hard and helped us keep the league going. It was really a weird year because also there was a lot of pro players that weren't able to play because their teams were shut down. So we had a lot of competitiveness in our league, and we were at like fields that weren't like pristine, nice fields. So it was really a tough year, but it was pretty cool. It was fun.
Hey, my name is Laricus Hughes, and we're going back to 2020, the COVID season, when we wasn't thinking we was going to be able to play baseball, but gave us a few weeks off, and everybody came back ready to play and determined to get through without anyone getting sick.
Well, 2020, the COVID season, it was kind of rough. First of all, you didn't know you was going to be able to play baseball or sit around and just be stuck in the house all the time. But got around to it. Everybody was being their little distance and whatnot. You know, out here in Cross Keys, it was kind of rough being that trying to get players to come out here. You know, but like I said, we got around to it where we ended up getting 25 to 30 players. Trying to make it through the whole season, what was the thing? I think we end up with 12, 13 players during the whole COVID season, really.
The 2020 season, as everybody remembers, I mean, COVID, of course, was a scary time for everybody. I mean, you know, for a while there, we were just trying to figure out life. But then on top of that, you know, the PBA itself was working to figure out, you know, are we going to have a season? What does that season look like? How do we get umpires out to the field? What can we do to pull that off? And luckily, you know, Nick and the rest of the league, we all worked hard and we all worked together to make that season come together. And it really turned out to be a highlight for everyone because it provided a sense of normalcy. With everything else being so different, being able to go out to the ball field and do something that was part of life before that time was a huge part, I think, of a lot of us, you know, adjusting and getting through that. And, you know, finding personal success on the field, finding something to have joy in that was away from all the stress was huge. So it was really big that everybody was able to come together and overcome those obstacles and pull that season off.
The year of 2020, the year of the COVID, and we had a good league and everything, but we had to be very particular about the way that we played and the way we communicate with each other, you know. But it was started late, but it was great. It was a great thing that we had, and we always have been to the point where we always had a good organization, and we responded to it, and we was very safe with that year. But you know, that's just where it was. We played good ball. Everybody played good ball. The umpires was there on time and everything, and we just really did a good job.
2020 was actually my second year in the PBA. Things went real well in the first year, and then COVID comes around for 2020. The year for me, as far as the COVID went, I mean, this thing's highly contagious, man. We got baseball as an actual contact sport. I mean, you're touching the same ball I'm touching. We got players here. But unexpectedly, that year went pretty much better than I think anybody could imagine. I mean, we still had full schedules. I mean, I don't know of any umpires on my part that actually got sick. I know a couple players probably missed a couple games, but other than that, 2020 was a really good year in the PBA for me. And actually, I think my season went further down in the year because I think I started doing playoff games and maybe got a shot at doing some of the championship games. So 2020 was definitely me really putting my staple on the PBA as an umpire.
The 2020 season. So this is the third season of the PBA, and the first two seasons, everybody's uncertainties on how the season's going to go. Now 2020 comes around. Now we got COVID. And this is doing all kinds of things to our country, tearing it apart, shutting everything down. What are teams going to do for fields? What are they going to do for players? Are we going to have a season at all? I was sitting at home watching the Major League season, the spring training, and all of a sudden you start hearing these teams are sending guys home. This is it. No more baseball this year. They're going to do away with spring training. So immediately I call a buddy of mine that plays ball with us, and hey man, you see all this? They're sending these guys home. They're not going to have a season this year in Major Leagues. What are we going to do? We're going to play baseball this year? Well, it turned out that this season, the 2020 season, was fantastic. Actually, we lost a couple of players that couldn't play due to, they were concerned about their safety. They were concerned about their family's safety, bringing that around them back home. But the season turned out fantastic. Other than us losing a couple players, I don't think we really faced any adversity. We had an actual home field where we were at and was okay. I know several other teams didn't have that. They had other locations that were not being able to be used at that time because of the COVID season right now. But as far as I remember, and my recollection is that that season went fantastic. I don't think there were any other restrictions or anything that season.
Talking about the 2020 year with the COVID restrictions, that was a tough year because you had some people that wouldn't show up because they were afraid. Then you had field restrictions with as far as fields go. You just had to you had to weather the storm. If someone was sick, you didn't know if it was COVID or they just had a cold. So it made life difficult, especially on sports.
2020 was a tough year. Just trying to make sure we had a full team each week with people being sick or people in the family being sick, and they just don't want to be out and try to give it to anybody like that. We played at a Greenville County field, so we had to find a different field to play at that year because it was at a school, so all schools were shut down. So that was the trouble, just trying to figure out where we were playing every weekend. But at the end, we still got it through. It was still probably a really good season at the end, but to start off, it wasn't fun.
Yeah, I think it was the shortest season we had in the PBA, but I think a couple teams dropped off, so it ended up working out in the end. Thankful to Nikki for putting something together in such a hard time when nobody wanted to do it.
As adult athletes, we didn't conform to what people were trying to tell us what to do, how to do it. We're outside for crying out loud.
And we're just a bunch of dudes trying to play ball on the weekend, man. We don't have any big contracts or no one's paying big money for us to be there. Like, we get to go out, we get to play ball with our boys, and live life like it's just another day on the diamond.
Of course. You're outside, you're breathing in fresh air. You're basically not together. So, the only place that you could be in a confined area was maybe home plate with the umpire, the catcher, and the batter. Mm-hmm. Or, we all, like I said, we were all adult athletes. We know if we weren't feeling good, we weren't going to show up, But, like you said, we kept it like a normal weekend, go out in beautiful sunshine, play ball, have a good time. But we knew the consequences, and it was our decision. We didn't let no one tell us what we could, what we couldn't do. And, luckily we had a great front office and president, vice president to say, let's play.
And I was just grateful to have the opportunity to go out and continue to play ball during that time. Like, you look on TV and you see all the stadiums are closed off, no fans were allowed, and I know a guy who was playing with the Rockies at the time, and he just said the atmosphere was totally different. There was it was still baseball, but it was weird. Having the cardboard cutouts in the stands and the fake noise played in the background. Yeah, I'm like, we get to go out there, and we've got the people that run this league and do such a good job, and
they do.
They provided us the opportunity to continue life and
do something that we had compassion and love to do, and basically try and have that little sliver of, you know, normalcy, and just to feel like we're back to normal, you know, which was a beautiful thing that we were able to have during that COVID year, you know. But other than that, I mean, no, another normal day in the office for us, you know, on the weekends.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, sir. 16. It's almost like it is 2020 again.
What is it? Action. What are we, 6 feet here?
I think it's quite 6.
So what year are we talking about?
We're talking about COVID 2020. That was a tough year.
Yes, it was a tough year, and we're gonna start with obviously having empathy for those people that got family members that were affected, and we all know about that story. But we're gonna talk about how that year impacted the PBA, where there were some really key decisions that Tanya, Nick, and the board have to make on that. So starting, Tanya, with are we gonna have the season?
Right. Some people were scared to play. Some people still wanted to play. So we had to try to figure out how to do both, make it safe to play.
Absolutely. I remember seeing everything being shut down. So all high school athletic events, all professional events were shut down. So now we got the PBA here with players wanting to play. But now what do we do with that 5 years of field? Walk us through that, Tanya, a little bit. If you remember about fields, what field did we use?
We couldn't use the county fields, obviously. There was just a handful of fields available to us. Kelton, Cross Keys. What else was available to us? Antroville. Antroville was available. That was it. There was only 4 or 5 fields.
Then we have that New Hope.
New Hope, yes.
The one next to the church.
Yes.
So we were able to implement that, but at that point, still scheduling. Like, hey, how many games are we going to play?
Right.
The season gets pushed a little bit further on the start, right? Usually,
I think it was June this time, wasn't it?
It was June, so I don't know if we have to play like a compressed schedule. So it was a lot going on, but at the end, the decision was made that we were going to be able to play ball. People just needed to get away from all this stuff that was going on, and we felt like playing baseball. But Tanya, it was a lot of I will wear masks, no high five at the.
No high fiving after the games.
Yes.
I remember Nick visiting some of the fields and fogging down the dugouts.
Exactly.
With the sanitizer before the games. It was crazy.
It was some crazy times, but we made it. The season was able to move on.
Yes.
And it was certainly a different season.
Yes.
One that we'll always remember, but we got it in. Right?
We did.
So that's all we got.
That's awesome.
In 2021, Tyler Bond in 2020 went on to lead the Upstate Rangers that season with MVP honors. Tyler had a great season that season for the Rangers, as Tyler went on in the Eastern Division to bat .451, 4 home runs, 18 RBIs, to lead the Rangers to the championship series against the Carolina Padres. That season, over in the Western Division of the Carolina Padres, Roman Marcano was leading the way. Going late into that season, Roman Marcano and Jeremiah Garcia was neck to neck, and who's going to win the MVP honors that season. Roman led the Western Division with a .415 average, 29 runs scored, and 16 RBIs. Roman helped lead the Carolina Padres to their third consecutive PBA title. In that season, the top pitcher in the East in 2020 was Gene Vincent of the Upstate Astros. Gene had a strong performance throughout the season with a 5-1 record with a 0.84 ERA, 39 strikeouts. Over in the Western Division, Jack Myers with a 4-0 record with a 1.83 ERA. Jack won Game 1 of the championship series against the Rangers, as a classical series came down to 5 games, as the Rangers fell to the Padres in Game 5 of a 5-game series, as the Padres captured their third consecutive PBA title.
Yeah, this is COVID season, so we made it to the end. We finally got an opportunity to play. So now we're in the championship series, going for the third title. Going into this series, I knew the Rangers was probably the best offensive team ever assembled in PBA history. I don't think there's an offensive team ever been assembled like that. Those guys had I think 8 or 9 guys left in the lineup, and they couldn't. I think that season they hit over 30 home runs as a team, which is ridiculous. But going into that series, Game 1, I think we had Bobby through that game. Did Bobby start?
Yep. Bobby was our number one.
Jack.
It was Bobby and Jack.
Bobby and Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen a pitcher, Jack, get hit hard as they hit him that day. And we end up winning 3-2 that game.
Yeah, it was a close game.
It was a real close game, that game. And I think the Rangers hit a lot of balls to right field with Tyler. I put Tyler in the outfield. And going into Game 2,
that was my game, the night game. It was either ball 4 or a hit somewhere. There was no way I couldn't mentally beat them. I couldn't physically beat them. Like you said, they were a great hitting team through all the way through the bench players. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't do nothing. So yeah, I kind of lost that game for us on that one.
And it was a night game, and we got stomped. I think they beat us by 16-6 or something like that.
That was the game where first inning, I think we were the away team.
Yeah.
We get the bases loaded. I get up to bat, hit a grand slam, and then the next inning, they come right back and completely negate that entire thing.
Yeah.
So nobody remembered
your grand
Austin
slam.
hit a grand slam because they came right back and put up 5 or 6 the next inning.
But hey, listen, I ain't gonna lie. I was the guy known for, hey, that guy threw great BP.
They was unstoppable. That team unstoppable.
Yeah.
So we got killed. And I remember that night. The word was I intentionally threw that game. I was throwing the series. Jonah Crenshaw said that I was throwing the series. It wasn't I was throwing the series. It's what I could do with these guys.
I don't know how to take that one.
No, I mean they could hit. There's no moves I could make at that point because that was an unstoppable lineup. So going into Game 3, I remember Game 3 is a day game at Dawson.
Yes, but you know what though? That second game, we knew it was out of reach. You just said you made a great manager move. Listen, Matt, can you finish it? I said, yeah. I know we ain't gonna do nothing. We got to worry about.
That game.
I started the whole game. I pitched the whole game. I got killed.
But Kirby came in and pitched.
Well, yeah. Well, you weren't gonna waste another good pitcher, which was a great manager move. Saying, listen, we're not gonna win this one, gentlemen, but we have to worry about tomorrow.
Save the good arms for the next game where we got a better chance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, Game 3, I knew at that point I had to try anything to try to slow this offense down. I mean, I'm telling you, I was worried. There was no way. So that game, I started John Tesh in that game. I started John that game. And then I went from John to Eric. Do y'all remember? Eric Anderson. I tried everything in the world to stop these guys.
Yeah.
And the game was tight up until a certain point, and then this offense just exploded. And I think they beat us like double-digit runs again. And they just killed. People don't remember that because at that point, I'm like, I don't know how in the world I can beat these guys.
Well, on top of that, Eric couldn't walk for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, Eric was on the injured list.
I just tried everything. I say, man, there's nothing can slow these bats down. So they up in the series 2-1. In 2-1, they up in the series, and this series is called the John Teshie series for a reason, and it's because of game 4. And we at the point where I remember I got in the huddle, and I knew we was not going to out-hit these guys. And I don't know if y'all remember, I told everybody, listen, let's stop them from scoring. Let's play the best defense we can play, whatever happened. And I think we played the worst defense because Roman Marcano, I think he sold out on us. I think he was paid. You know, I always say Roman was paid.
He always leaves during the series.
He always had one championship game where he's paid off, and I think that was the game. But Roman did exactly what I told him to do, and we made several errors that game. We got behind that game, and Daniel started the game, pitched a great game.
He pitched a great game. Daniel did pitch a good game.
They started Ty Tipkin, and he pitched great.
Yeah.
They had a 6-4 lead going into like the 7th or 8th inning.
Yeah.
6-4 lead, and at that point, I'm sitting there. And I had asked Matt, you ready to come in? At that point, Matt wasn't ready. Matt said, let Daniel keep rolling.
He was rolling.
We let Daniel roll. So I knew I had Austin. If we could somehow get the lead, I knew Austin could close this game out. But the problem was getting the lead on these guys. And actually, we slowed them down from scoring. We down 7-5 in the 8th inning. I think it was 7-5 in the 8th inning. We down. We got a run later in the 8th inning. So it started getting interested. Now it's 2 outs. Sammy get hit by a pitch. I remember. And they bring in their closer. At that point,
McAllister,
McAllister.
Yeah.
They brought in their closer. And I'm sitting there with Eric, and I had me and Eric conceded that game, pretty much said, but we'd already won 2. And it's great for the league to have a different winner. You know, the Rangers are a great team. They deserve it. So at that point, we sitting on the bucket, and early in that game, Tyler Mitchell gets ejected.
Yep.
And that hurt us.
That was number what?
It was number 5, which suspended him for game 5.
Game 5.
But so we lost Tyler for the rest of the series if we get to a game 5. All I had was John Teshie. And I say, John, early in the game, I said, you got to play. And I think John had struck out 2 at-bats that Tyler would have had that killed us. So late in the 8th inning, got to that point.
It was you, me, and Eric talking about who we going to put in.
Yeah. Well, John was already the guy scheduled to hit because he had been in the game. So we get some lead. So I'm talking to Tanya over there, and I said, well, Tanya, look like we're going to lose and stuff. And Tanya was standing there like she was concerned. And I said, well, what's wrong? I left the trophy at home.
I left the trophy at home.
She left the trophy.
I can't believe I'm finding about this now.
So now she got explaining to the Rangers manager that she left the trophy at home.
Wait, I'm curious. How would have that worked? What would you have said to them? Like,
I was so scared when John was going up to bat. I was on my way over to Zach, who was coaching third base, to go ahead and let him know beforehand I left the trophy at home.
Yeah. So Eric tapped me, and I'm standing there watching John. You know, we pretty much at peace because we know we getting ready to lose. Now we got to run at third and run at second. So John come to play. We got a chance. Now we down by 1 run, a base hit, give us the lead. So Eric tapped me, Nick, go hit. I jumps up, and then I say, yeah, I'm gonna go hit, man. I'm gonna hit. So I walked up to John, and John's eyes was real big when I looked at him. And I said, John, I'm gonna hit for you. John just say, okay, here you go. So he just gives us the bat. You know, John did not want no part of that at bat, Zach McAllister. I don't think
not many of us did.
No, not a lot of people did.
He was throwing some cheese. So this is my first at bat, probably 2 years. You know, I haven't swung a bat all year. So, you know, I jump in the box. He threw me the first fastball. He had some steam on it, but it was flat. And I said, well, I can hit a flat 84, 85-mile fastball, you know, at my age. So the next pitch, the umpire got me one that Tiger Woods said was too low. So the next pitch I said, I can't let this pitch go by because the umpire, the way he calling, I don't know what he going to call. So he threw me a high fastball outside, and I just went with the pitch, hit it down the line, got a double, and that gave us the game-winning hit. So at that point, I knew, now, Austin, you got to finish this. So Austin took over. Austin, what was going through your mind? And we know if we get the game 5 with Bobby, if you close it out.
Not only that, after what he did, putting the team on his back.
You know, baseball is a game of momentum. And anyone who's been around the game long enough has had the opportunity to see momentum shift from one direction to another. And that's a prime example. Nicky stepping in the box, putting the team on his back, and then executing. That was enough to lift everybody's spirits. So
yeah, he definitely Marshawn Lynch that whole thing.
It's unbelievable.
The entire team on his back.
But I wish I would have known that Tanya forgot the trophy. That would have made it even more better that game. I'm just saying.
So not only was the team on Nicky's back, Tanya was on his back too.
Yeah. This is your number one fan that game.
Yeah.
And once we won Game 4, I knew we were gonna win Game 5 because I had Bobby. And they one thing about the Rangers, they proved they couldn't handle Bobby. And Bobby pitched a gem for the first. And that day we were stacked on our pitching staff. We had Bobby, Yaz, Daniel, and Austin. And I knew we could win Game 5. And Juan Garcia was big that game. He hit a 3-run shot.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah, Juan.
Yeah, Juan came big.
Yeah. So we got to the 8th inning, and we had like a 2-run lead in the 8th. And I brought Yaz in. And Yaz threw about 94, 95.
Yeah, he made me nervous.
Yeah. Guess what? He was wild.
Yes, he was.
Couldn't find it. So I think we had 2 outs in the 9th. We finally got to the 9th inning. Yaz got to it, got to the 9th. We got 2 outs in the 9th. Yaz got wild again. They in position to take the lead or tie it up. I had to call on Austin Cox.
Again.
Austin, you got to tell us about it, Austin.
I'm over there at first base.
He's stretching.
And from the very beginning, I can see Yaz is just, he's getting too mechanical. He's getting inside of his head, thinking too much. And I'm over there at first base trying to make it obvious, like, I want the ball. And I think Nicky eventually saw me over there kind of doing this, moving my shoulder around, and it took him a little too long to figure that part out.
Yeah,
but,
dude.
The bases were loaded.
The bases were loaded.
Bases were loaded. It's a close game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm one step shy of yelling at him. Nicky, put me in the game.
He's not giving you no room for forever at all.
No. So he finally calls time, goes out there, and he's like, all right, Austin, go grab your glove. I'm like, let's go. So running in the dugout, grab my glove. Warm-up pitches are fire, because I'm feeling it. And I step onto the mound. I believe it's A.J. Greer steps into the box.
It's AJ.
And if you look back at how this season went, A.J. is another catalyst for the Rangers.
A real good year.
He was one of those guys kind of into the middle of the order where he can do damage with one swing, one pitch.
Right.
And so I'm feeling good. I feel like I can go conquer the world right now. My first 3 pitches were balls.
That's right. That
I
sure
took
was.
him 3-0.
I remember.
And came back.
3 balls in a row. And I had to pause for a second and be like, I'm not going to walk him. I know that's a fact. So I step off the mound, flip a little switch in my head, and go back onto the mound and throw 3 strikes right in a row. He didn't swing in a single one of them.
Well, you bulldogged it. That's all that matters.
Bulldogged it. I flipped the bulldog switch. I pulled one from Gene Vincent's book.
That was classic.
And we secured the win. So that was a very exciting series overall.
And that was a
great
three-peat.
series.
That was a three-peat of the
Yes,
that
it was.
That was a 3-peat, yeah.
Yep.
Hey guys, my name is Nephew Gando, former MLB player for Philadelphia Phillies, Miami Marlins, and Cincinnati Reds. I come to the PBL back in 2021, and I love this league for the diversity of ethnicity, and I feel like this is a place that we all can fit in. It's a lot of diversity of different players, a lot of talents in the league. It's something special for me and my family. It's a league that I can bring my whole family and feel like a home.
All right, so 2021, that year we really saw a lot of different ethnicities join the league, diversity. All the teams were very different in a lot of ways, but at the end of the day, we were all kind of friends as well. And it was really it made it fun to come out and want to compete against somebody. And then after the game, we'd have a cookout or whatever at the field, and we'd just have a nice time. But it was nice seeing how a lot of different ethnicities come together, and it made it a lot more competitive.
For us to lead with the diversity of the players and all of that, I like the experience because I didn't grow up playing against Spanish and players from all over the world. But right now, I'm enjoying playing with them guys, and it's actually good to learn new languages and see great talent from other places. And as far as the league, this league has great talent and one of the great best pitching I've seen, and I didn't play baseball a very long time.
2021, you know, this league here, I mean, Nick built a great league, you know, but like around my area, you got a lot of, you know, black guys over here, full team, and you might not have but 2 on this team. Coming around to it, it's all about baseball. It's not about, you know, going crazy or doing this or doing that. You know, you play as one, as a team. Around here, the PBA is going great. Since 2018, it's done came all the way around. You know, and I feel like this right here in the league is a great league. You ever just want to come and play some baseball, some great baseball and the great teams, join the PBA. That's where it's at.
So one of the things that I immediately noticed about the PBA coming into it is just the diversity of the communities, the diversity of the players, and just switching things up. For somebody like myself, you know, growing up, I played baseball on cookie cutter baseball fields. Everybody from the same community. You know, you couldn't really tell one field from another, one place from another. It all looked the same. And so that was, you know, stepping into the PBA, that was something that you notice off immediately. You would go into communities like Cross Keys and meet different, you know, and see how different people embraced baseball. And that's absolutely been one of my favorite things about the PBA is getting to know everyone within the baseball community. You know, the Hispanic community has gotten merged in on teams. There's been a pipeline of that coming in through as one player knows another. They bring in their friends. And that's truly become one of my favorite things about the league is that, you know, a lot of us outside of our jobs don't get the opportunity to meet other people, even just outside of those circles, much less of any diversity. And now, you know, it's great because I've got a whole list of people that I know that I don't know what their jobs are, what they do for a living. I know them as baseball players, younger, older, the whole range. And that flavor, those different styles of play, for me, that's been something that I didn't get in a previous life of playing baseball. And that's absolutely something that the PBA brings that's a really a great aspect of this league.
But, you know, when we first got this thing here started, we had mostly the predominant white ball player. But now it's got to the point now where, you know, it's a variety of different types of people. And that's the part that I like about the whole situation, about the league itself. It's not a black league. It's not a white league. It's a all American league, just like America. It's versus as far as races and stuff like that, and we never had no problem with that as far as ball play. We don't look at that kind of stuff. We out there to play ball and to have fun and all this racial stuff. We're not even into that kind of stuff anymore. So, you know, that is the way life is, and that's just the way life should be.
All right, so that 2021 year was that was the first year that I came into the PBA, and I remember my first game. I had come in a couple games late, and we were playing up in Hendersonville against the Asheville Pioneers, and I remember showing up to the field, and man, there's all types of different guys out there. Some guys that I knew growing up, you know, they had some Hispanic guys out there, some black guys out there. I remember the second baseman's out there talking Spanish, and the pitcher was an ex-Mexican League pitcher. I remember seeing him. People were telling me that he had played pro ball and stuff like this, and I just remember showing up and being like, all right, this is it, man. This is baseball at its truest form. You know, we had all types of different guys that grew up in the area, guys that were from other places, guys that played pro ball, high school ball, college ball, all of it, man. There was all types of different dudes out there, and it's you know, it was a really humbling and cool experience to have that as my first experience in the PBA.
Yeah, coming from other leagues that we play in, the diversity it's completely different. In other leagues, you're not seeing that much diversity. You come into this league, like I say, we had a lot of Hispanic guys. A lot of Hispanic guys come in that season. It was a big change. Now we did play in another league that had a lot of black guys playing in it, and that was great. And then you like I say, you get a lot of mix of the Hispanics, the blacks, the whites. It's great. Diversity is great, and in everything, especially in sports. And it's always going to continue like that.
And I think it's even more true in the PBA because the PBA is spread out across the whole upstate of South Carolina. So you've got these communities, and all these communities have all their guys. So you got like down in Union, you got a big black community down there. Their baseball team represents that. The Pioneers, they got a huge Hispanic community. It represents that. You've got guys not only from different countries and stuff like that, but you got guys from all over, just this region, different communities, different states, stuff like that, all coming together to play ball. It's a super cool thing, cool experience.
It's a great atmosphere, and we want to continue the same thing for the rest of the time.
Oh, we're on?
So 2021.
2021, man, we had a bunch of different diversities and ethnicities. We had Latin guys, we had black guys, we had white guys, we had Italian guys. I remember Nick said,
guys.
Yeah, we had old guys, young guys. Well, what did Nick say? All we need is an Asian guy, and we have a melting pot as a team. Yeah. Now that was a great year. We had we had a lot of the Latin players. Especially, I'll tell you what was a big thing was when we had Will McBee. Will McBee, man, boy,
he's been a contributor since day one.
How's he ever? But then you got to talk about Roman. Not only was he Latin, but he was also one of the oldest guys.
Man, Roman, you couldn't tell he was old.
No, you could not.
Put him at shortstop, third base, second base, anywhere on the infield, and he's holding his ground just like any of the younger guys.
He was.
Roman's a contributor, minus the part where he's a little slow down the baseline.
Just a little bit. But he can cover his left to right. But then that's where it was a good thing when we had Will. Will can cover a lot, But the diversity as a PBA for us, we played a lot of teams that had different, diversity, not just us. I mean, we weren't the only team that had
you got the
a
Asheville,
mixture.
The Pioneers.
The Pioneers were another one.
Heavily Hispanic group of guys. We had Sammy. I mean, Sammy brought a whole different dynamic to the Padres.
Yeah, he did. I
mean, bringing their speaker out to every game and blasting this intense Latino music.
Scooby-Doo pop-up, right?
Scooby-Doo, and we had our new theme song.
We did.
Thanks to Sammy.
But it made the game. It made the game interesting. You learned a lot about other players and their background, but it didn't really matter, what color you were. It didn't matter where you were from. When we stepped on that diamond, we all spoke the same language. We all spoke baseball. Yep. And again, like when we were talking, it didn't matter what color we were. If we were wearing blue that day, we were all blue. If we were wearing yellow, I don't know how many colors Nick has for us, gray, red, yellow, blue. I mean, we were all that, together as a family unit,
That's the cool thing about this game and this league. If you play baseball for any amount of time, up past college, pro ball, we got guys from Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. I mean, all sorts of guys with different backgrounds, different histories. Putting them all together on this group of guys from Italy, all sorts of backgrounds. I mean, we got Matt talking Spanish in the dugout.
Hey,
he learned from all these other guys from
down south. Of course. I mean, I was trying to learn how to make arepas one time.
Yeah. It's a really cool culture that we've developed here.
It is, and we can pick off from each other. So I knew me and you played on two separate teams in 2019. You know, I came in 2019 with the Electricity Mets.
Yep.
And the fans, you know, was either a couple the wives or a couple girlfriends, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
But when we joined together on the Padres, and we started bringing in all the different ethnicities. What were you saying about the Sammy? What he's always bringing?
The big boom box with.
What do you call it? Big Mama.
The Big
He
Mama,
called Big
yeah,
Mama.
the Big Mama.
And then he'd play the music, and then as the years went on, like more people started showing up, you know, and it was just like us from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, you know, so it was great. Like you got Latin music playing over here, you got ribs cooking over there. I mean, it was the best time. Those are the best times.
Especially when we go down to Antroville.
Oh, don't even talk about that food.
They'd have the big smoker, and we'd go out after the game, and they'd hook us up with the barbecue chicken and the hot dogs,
the chicken
and the
and the
burgers.
ribs. Oh man, forget about it, dude. All that food was delicious. I know I probably gained more weight playing there.
You held on to it too, huh?
But oh no, man, you know. But the fan base of each team, you know, like, you know, one has a boom box, you know, another one they're just chanting, and you know, it was great, but it flourished and it grew as time went on. You know, since I remember you might have had in 2019, you had maybe one girlfriend or one wife, or you know, just a little bit, or maybe someone's mama came. But other than that, you know, it's gotten bigger and bigger, and it's like a snowball effect as the years went on.
When we play in these other stadiums too, like Conisty Park, we played a handful of games in Conisty Park recently, and people see that there's a baseball game going on down on the field. So people come in from the park on a Saturday or a Sunday where they're just down there to watch some baseball, and that's another great opportunity that this league has provided us, is playing in these old historic stadiums, getting people from the community involved, and getting them out to see some local baseball players play the game they love.
Like Conisty, Duncan Park. I mean, especially when you go down like the Antroville, I mean, it's like a community out there, you know, or we go to Cross Keys to play the White Sox. It's a community.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Cross
I
Keys is
mean,
a good one too.
I remember I walked from the dugout to the bathroom. There was 3 or 4 people cooking something different. Oh man, oh man.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, you can't beat it, you know. I mean, it ain't gonna be nothing professional, but it makes the playing of the game better, you know, with the chanting and the cheering and the hooping and the hollering. I mean, it's a great time with the fans too.
Yeah.
And you watching as you go along the years, you see the players with their girlfriends that turn into wives, that turn into families, that turn with their kids, and they all get to enjoy and experience what we get to do as well.
Yeah.
Just like you, married, got the kid, married, got the kid, and you know, we bring them, and they all have a good time. And that's what it should be, is everyone have a good time.
The PBA has had the opportunity to see multiple families grow and develop, and it's cool to bring the kids out to see this environment too.
And if you don't make the game, Tanya's always taking pictures of the fans, and I love the cutest fans of the weekend. You know, you got the kids just being kids. I mean, dirt on their face, playing in the sand.
It's not just about us on the field playing the game. It's about the family environment and these kids coming out to see their dads play baseball. And Tanya does a really good job of capturing that.
Oh God, she does. And what was great about Tanya is she captures the fans without the fans even knowing. So they're in their natural state of cheering and you know, going with their team, rather than her saying, "Hey, stand there, let me take a picture, pose." You know, it's beautiful what she does as well with the PBA.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
2021 actually was my 3rd year in the PBA. The whole league's growing, competitions out of the roof. Great organization at this time. Then we get new teams. We've always had a bunch of African American players. Then we get a bunch of Latino players. We've got Randall in the league. We've got Sam, great catcher. All of these guys, and they all bring something special to the PBA, man. 2021 was actually really a great year. I did from the preseason all the way up to the championship season. So that was a great year for me.
There you go. When we formed the PBA years ago, the main thing was let's reach out to every community. It definitely wasn't about just one race. It was about everybody. Family. That's our number one model that we preach is family in the PBA. And no matter whether you black, white, Hispanic, it don't even matter. You're welcome here to play in the PBA. And one thing that we're real strict on, we want that everybody comes in know that they need to feel comfortable here in the PBA. Because this is not a white league, black league. This is family. We got one color, and that's baseball. Randall had a lot of experience with the Latin players coming in here in the PBA, and they come in droves. Randall, what is it like, coming into a league and there wasn't a lot of Hispanic players at the time you came in?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly was a little bit different, right? Adjusting to that. But baseball brings everything together, right? And I know I bought into that idea where the PBA was pushing for that, and that year really we emphasized on, hey, we gotta grow as a community, we gotta come in together. So I was very happy to be part of that because that was a good direction that we were taking, towards that. And we didn't know what was gonna happen after that, but now we sit here and it certainly worked out because we couldn't be more diverse today. But I think opening that door and having that vision really gave the opportunity to a lot of guys that were good players that were out there just not sure, not thinking, man, but that's not a league where, Hispanic plays. That's not, that. But all of a sudden that was opened up and then, guys really found out quick that through baseball, even if you don't speak English, even if whatever, everybody felt like family, and I think that's part of the culture that still drives this league and make us a lot different than everything that you might see around. I think there's a lot of that.
Yeah, and if we're going to be stewards of the community, I think we also need to be a reflection of the community. Everybody's welcome, and there's not a certain color, white, black, or whatever.
My experience playing in other leagues that we have here in upstate, even the one in Newberry.
It's either one.
Yeah, either one. My experience is that it's catered to that certain race. And nothing against those leagues. It's just that the leadership got to change the culture. In the league that we was previous in, we tried to reach out to different cultures, but the teams that I had, I got backlash from my own race because they felt like I was more reaching out to the opposite race, whether it's black, whether it's Hispanic, whether it's white. They even said you only bring white guys to your team. No, I bring anybody. It's just that who I can get. Yeah, it's just who I can get. So and then also with leagues here in upstate of South Carolina, that's ran by a single race. It feels like that race is catered to more. But here in the PBA, we want to make sure that the door is open to everybody, and if you discriminate, any player discriminate on the field, we want to make sure that player get going and get disciplined. And we work hard to try to, ensure that anybody comes to the PBA, no matter what color, they're going to be protected.
Yes, absolutely, and that's big. And another thing that is being great about it is that, having that flavor from, different cultures coming together in the way of playing baseball, and putting it all together is so attractive to the fans. There are different styles on how, every player can contribute with their own background, with their own personalities, their own way to celebrate. At the end, we all learn from each other. And I think that's huge, to continue growing and bringing more players.
So 2021 was a rough year. We started off the season not doing that terrible. And then I had my 2 starting pitchers, stuff like that. They left on me, and then one of my bigger bats, he left. So after that, we kind of went downhill. We just trying to keep the team together. It was just a really tough time trying to keep 9 on the field. We won technically 1 game the rest of the year. We took a first round or play-in tournament round out to end the season. So coming out of that year, it was tough trying to keep the team together and just trying to see if we were going to make it to 2022. But people came back and we fought to keep us together.
There we go. Hold on.
In 2021, the Upstate Rangers was back for another season in the PBA. But the Rangers had a strong performance throughout the season by Tyler Bond. Tyler Bond, for the 2nd consecutive season, captured MVP honors for the Rangers that season as Zach Breeden led the top pitching for the Rangers. That season, Tyler Bond batted .528 with 12 RBIs and 9 stolen bases to win his back-to-back MVP honors in that Eastern Division. Over in the Western Division, it was the Carolina Blue Jays' Jordan Garrett. Jordan Garrett came into the season as new to the PBA, but Jordan Garrett led the Western Division with a .373 average, 17 runs, and 33 RBIs to help lead the Carolina Blue Jays to the PBA Championship Series. Sean Bryant of the Carolina Blue Jays was very strong that season. Sean had a 5-1 record with a 1.14 ERA to lead the Blue Jays to the championship series. But in the Eastern Division, Zach Breeden, with a strong performance throughout the season, didn't lose a game in the regular season with a 6-0 record, 1.25 ERA, 46 strikeouts. That season, the Carolina Blue Jays would challenge the division winners of the West that season for the PBA Championship Series, the Carolina Padres. The Padres came in going into their 4th consecutive PBA Championship Series. But the Blue Jays, with strong pitching performances from Matt Craig and Sean Bryant, and good timely hitting, was able to capture their first ever PBA title.
Man, that 2021 year, that was my first year in the league, and coming in, I was recruited to come play center field, and we had a bunch of guys talking, yeah, we're going to make a championship run this year, we're gonna win it all this year, and you take that stuff with a grain of salt because you don't really know if these guys just want to get you out there to play or if there really was a chance. And when we got to the end of the year, we had 20+ wins on the year, we had a really good regular season, and we just carried that momentum into playoffs. Pretty much breezed through the playoffs. We ended up losing the first game of every series and then swept from that point out. And that was true for the championship too, man. It seemed like when we would get down, we would fight back. And every single time we found a way to answer, a way to score. We were getting guys on base, getting guys in. And, that was the first year in the PBA that somebody other than the Padres won the championship. So I think that was really good for the league to kind of show that there is other talent on other teams and, bring that, I guess, help show that there was more talent than just one team in the PBA. So I think it was not only good for the Blue Jays, but it was also good for the league.